Hey guys, so I'm back with another video, you know what I'm saying? And it's been 2 weeks. I was supposed to be more consistent, but a lot of things came up, finna graduate, a lot of personal life stuff came up. I was just really busy. And I was finishing the intramural season. That's actually what I made this video to talk about. I wanted to recap our softball season because, I felt like y'all deserve to know like what happened. Y'all deserve to know the nitty gritty, the behind the scenes, and like my thoughts on like what happened and like everything. So first, let's just get right into it. So first off, you can see I've healed. My shoulder is straight. I took the sling off. I don't wear it no more. But I did re-aggravate it playing basketball the other day when I threw a pass like this and it re-aggravated the shoulder. When I move it, sometimes it pops in and out. But I didn't make this video to talk about my injury. I did play every game in the season. You know, 4 games with this injury, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like it affected my performance. Or I'm not gonna sit here and act like it didn't affect my performance. It didn't affect my hitting. It did affect my hitting, but I'm not gonna sit here and just make excuses. That is not what this video is about. That is not what this video is about. I just want to recap our season and just go over like the good, the bad, the ugly. So we can start off with the good. I felt like we had a good season. Even though we didn't win a game, I felt like we some of us showed heart. Some of us showed fight, and even though we had to forfeit 2 games, it was a lot of fun. Even though we got raked off of, even us, 1-17 loss, we did have a game where we almost won. We could just go game by game. So first game of the season, we got shellacked. I think we lost like 3-16. They were a great team. Willie got raked. Might have been like a 20 ERA that game, but they were a good team. We didn't really hit well. I hurt my shoulder. We were still figuring some things out. The second game, I think we forfeited that game actually because we didn't have enough players. So then we picked up, a hot shot free agent, my boy Grayson Sharp. Shout out Grayson Sharp. Let's give him a good shout out because he wasn't on the team at first and he showed up. Came to every game that we signed him for, and can't say that about everybody, but we're not gonna sit here and throw the blame game. There's conflicting schedules. Things come up. So shout out Grayson Sharp. Third game, I'm pretty sure we lost 2-7, but it was a solid game. They had one big inning. First, we actually had a lead. I think we were up 2-1, 2-1 after both teams batted the first inning. Then they had a 5-run inning. They just started shellacking. Hitting to the outfield, and then they won 2-7. We couldn't get the bats going, and then the next game we played against some Jesse. I know him. Shout out, bro. We lost 5-7. No, I think it was 6-7 or 6-8. I don't know, but it went to extra innings. I remember in that game we were down. Thick, big, caked up Josh comes to the plate. One man on first. We're on 2 outs, I think. Josh comes up. We're down 2. He hits a home run. Drives in. I think it was Caleb or whoever was in front of him. Big home run. We're high. We tie the game up. We come up. I come up. Man on first, second. I get my base hit. Get somebody in. We take the lead 6-5. I didn't. No one else scored that round, but we have a lead going into the last inning, 6-5, and it just we lost. We lost. Hindsight 2020, we lost. We couldn't stop them. And we lose that game. But hey, we showed a good fight. We showed a heart, and we showed the ability, the mentality to come back. You know what I mean? And then the last game of the season, we lost 1-17. We don't really gotta talk about that. They were a good team. I think they probably won the championship. And then we forfeited our playoff game because we didn't have enough people show up. Some players, some people, they had to go to a flag football game. But if we, this is not here to play the blame game or anything. That's not what I made the video to do. But I hope that they ended up. I hope the 3 guys who had the flag football game ended up winning the championship, and I hope it was worth it because apparently they were the number 1 seed, and they dominated the season all the way through, and I hope that they won the championship and it was worth, forfeiting the softball game. I just hope it was worth it for those guys. All love for them. This is not a video to throw blame or hate on anyone. I hope that they won the championship, and I hope that it was a fair and just game. I hope that no one got injured. I hope it was good for them. I hope they won. I really do. But yeah. So that's the recap of the season, game by game. I want to give some special shout outs to Grayson Sharp. Appreciate you for joining the team midway through. You didn't have to do that. We really needed you. Thank you for doing that, Grayson. I want to shout out EJ. He played through his finger injury. He had busy stuff, big stuff. We know everybody's going through stuff. Everybody has other things, other priorities, but I really appreciate him for, coming to every game and with the finger injury and having, the capstone to do and, having his girlfriend and, still coming to every game. Appreciate him. I could look at the roster. Shout out Dell. Wait, actually, no, I'll take that back. Shout out Thick Josh for being one of our best hitters this season, having ice and doing his thing, and one of the best hitters on the field. Ice in his veins, very cold. Who else gets a shout out, bro? Dang it. Shout out. I guess we could shout out Willie. Shout out Dub. He came to every game. Pitcher took a hard hit to the arm, and did his thing. His fielders, we let him down. We could have did better for him, but he still continued to trust us and throw strikes. And thank you to everybody else who was on the team. Thank you to Braden. Dell was on the team. Allen. Shout out Allen, actually. Shout out Allen. He came to every game. Even though this ain't his main sport, shout out Allen. He gave heart. He played hard every time. Good energy, good vibes. And shout him out. I know he doesn't like baseball, but he played because we needed bodies. And I appreciate that from him. I was on thing. Thank you to Nick for being on the team. Ethan, came to one game. Shout out him. Thanks, Ethan. I was on the team. Cap, Caleb, thank you to him. I don't know if he gets a shout out. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Zach. Thank you, Zach, for being on the team. Would have gave him a shout out, but he slept through a game, so I don't think he gets a shout out. Dude, who else on the team? Thank you to Braden. He was on the team. That's probably everybody, right? Thank you to the fans. Thank you to Braden and KJ and Jamie came to 2 games, I think. Christian might have come to the game. We'll shout out Christian just cause, shout out, bro. And then, man, and thank you to myself, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I had a fun season. This softball is one of the most fun intramurals, that we got. And I'm glad that we were able to do it, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm real thankful for that, you know what I'm saying? And shout out the refs and all that. As for the season, a team overall, I felt like we showed good heart and, we fought hard, There were some things, sometimes it got hot, but, we kept our heads in it. You know what I mean? And, what next for me? I'm probably going to be making more YouTube content, finna graduate, what I'm saying, a few more weeks. So I'm going to make some more YouTube content. Probably some basketball stuff coming up, maybe some ranking my friends stuff. But we'll see about that. But, again, I just wanted to make this video, not to throw shots at anybody, but just really, make sure it was a team, make sure I get to shout out the team and just get y'all my thoughts because, the recap videos, I feel like y'all kind of fuck with them. But, yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for, watching the video if you made it this far. Peace out, guys.